Good morning and welcome to WyoToday Sports Live here on 101.7 KDNO. It's Kevin, Baylor, and Cody as normal, and we are joined by the broadcast play-by-play man, the man you all love to listen to on the radio right here on 101.7, the broadcaster for the 2A Boys State Championship team, the Thermopolis Bobcats. It is the one, the only, Kevin Gerber. Kevin, how's it going?
Hey, doing great, guys. Thanks for having me this morning.
All right, so we want to talk a little bit about, tell us a little bit about how Thermopolis is going as far as the town and parents and everything. I know they're one of our great supporters, along with who they faced, Wyoming Indian Chiefs, two of our better supported by the whole community, by the whole town, by the whole area teams. Tell us a little bit about what that means and how Thermopolis is reacting to being back-to-back state champs.
Yeah, I mean, pretty amazing. I know they had a big entrance when they got home. It wasn't until I think about 12:30 a.m., maybe closer to 1. All the fire trucks and police officers and families and everything all showed up at the start of the town, and they all came through, and so that was pretty exciting and lots of support there, even that early in the morning. And to go back to back, I mean, just means a lot to this community, I think, and the fact that our girls were in the championship as well and had a hard fought game. I mean, to have both teams in a championship is just doesn't happen very often. So for that to happen is pretty amazing. And then for the boys to go back to back after as long of a drought as they'd had, even being in it, it's just awesome for our town.
Kevin, it was a great basketball game, and of course, I was sitting by you calling the Wyoming Indian side of the broadcast, but this Thermopolis Bobcats team played great defense. I mean, if there's one aspect of their team that really shined throughout the regionals and state tournament, it was the defense. And I know you guys prepared throughout the year. Coaches booked a very tough schedule for Thermopolis.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, if you listen to one of our big sponsors is always Edward Jones and Travis Winger here in town, and so he always brings our keys to the game, and that was one almost every week that either myself or Kevin Simpson would bring up would be, defense leads to offense, and for this team for the last 2 years, it's always been that way. It just seems like even when they go and things don't seem to be going so well for them, like it did in the semifinal game, their defense intensity seems to pick up, and then that leads to some easy buckets that then just make the basket a little bit bigger, and then they start seeing shots fall down. So, yeah, their defense always is what led to their good offense.
Phenomenal group of seniors. You've got anywhere from the mild-mannered Weber kid to the flamboyant talker, Zach Hasty, and then just the guy who gets it done every day, scoring wise, rebounding wise. Your big man. So, I mean, tell us about how those seniors, and you coached them through time, but how they blended together through their youth and then led to this back-to-back run.
Yeah, I mean, I humbly say that I got to be a little part of some of their coaching just through some travel ball and very backseat to that of getting to see and watch them play. And so it's been awesome to watch them grow up and play. And all 5 seniors, I mean, have been together for a long time, did a lot of travel ball with, with Ellis's dad, Dan, and with Cody's dad, Travis. Just, they're a solid group. And, I hated that for regionals and state that Cody wasn't able to be 100%, fighting some injuries, and that made it tough for him. But the great part about this senior group is that made someone else have to step up, or a couple people have to step up too. And he went out and played as hard as he could and in what abilities that he could. And he just became a role player, especially in that championship game. I think Cody just had to play as a role player. And then, Zach Casey was really kind of the catalyst that kind of got things going in that direction. And of course you had Nolan Collins, who was always just kind of the defensive specialist. He came out and always drew the toughest guard, every time. Had to face guard people at times and everything. he unfortunately had a rough semifinal game, and just that it was one of those games where he just didn't feel like he could do much right, so he didn't get a lot of playing time, which is probably why they struggled as a team in that semifinal game. And then you had Bridger coming in off the bench, always could spark some good offense as well for the Bobcats. And then, I just can't say enough about Ellis either. Yeah, he's mild-mannered, but has a fire inside of him that you always want in somebody. He's always been a vocal leader at times, but I don't know anybody else of his stature that is so willing to take a hit. And this is the number of charges he took over the season. Last few seasons have been amazing. So yeah, to watch all these guys grow up and then to go on and do exactly what they sought out to do when they were like third and fourth graders is pretty amazing.
Well,
I'm pretty proud of them.
Yeah, and Kevin, good athletes too. I mean, Collins is going to play football in college. Bomajen's going to Gillette College. What do you hear from Zach Hasty? What are his plans? I know he's going to play in the Shrine Bowl this summer.
He is, and I think because of that, it's kind of torn him as far as what he wants to do, whether it's basketball or football. I know he wants to go on to the next level and do one of those two things, but it might just come down to what seems to fit what he wants to move forward with the best and everything, because I do think either thing that he chooses, it'll be the right choice, and it can work out really good. Bridger, he's going to go on and I'm sure rodeo somewhere. That's, I think, his first love for sure. And, and then I have no doubt Ellis is going to go on and do amazing things as well. Like I said, he was always so big about his faith, and that's what he brought to the table first and foremost. I know that was the most important to him, so he always led the team in prayer before every game and everything like that. So that kid's going to go on and do great things as well.
This group of girls too, I mean, what a run they made, and iron sharpens iron, and they played a great schedule.
Oh man, and I can't say it. I just kept bragging on them as well. I'll blame myself a little bit for probably good enough expectations when I came in and was watching. I didn't know how well they would do, and the first few games I watched. Well, the first game I came back and was doing was against the Lady Chiefs, and it had an okay first half, and then second half Lady Chiefs came out and played really tough, and so I was kind of like, okay, maybe that's what we're gonna see, like this up and down, and we did for a little bit, and then man, the second half of the season. The younger group that came up, they were doing great, but that's because of the leadership. You never saw the older girls, the seniors, in JC or Cam or Charlie ever get upset with the younger group, even if that younger group maybe made a bad pass or a bad turnover in a bad moment or maybe rushed a shot or anything. You never saw them get after that younger group, and that just built the confidence of that younger group so much. So it was amazing. It really was.
Kevin, obviously there was a celebration after the game, after securing the state title, but what was the celebration like when you guys all got back to Thermopolis? I assume, the community came together and put something on to celebrate those kids and their effort in the state championship.
Yeah, it's interesting because last year being their first in a number of years, they did a little bit of a walking parade in the downtown, and then they went into one of the local restaurants, one at Buffalo, I think, bought them dinner one night, and so there was that. As far as they just did a big celebration at the school board meeting just last night, I believe, and really celebrated them there. The boys, most of the team, if not the whole varsity team, all either shaved their heads and bleached their hair, or they just bleached their hair. I know Zach wasn't quite willing to give up the flowing locks, so I think he just bleached it. But yeah, there was a lot of Slim Shadys walking around in Thermopolis right now.
Hey, Kevin, one of the things, we always like to do, and it's exciting for the fans, but it's exciting for us, and you kind of dream of a call, being able to make a call like this. Walk us through a little bit about what went through your head. Not so much Kevin Simpson's, because, he went nuts. We know that. But that region championship game, Wyoming Indian comes out of the timeout, forces way into the paint, really works his or ties it up. You got just a few seconds left, and like you said, with Cody injured, playing hurt a little bit. Walk us through kind of what you saw and the emotions that went through you and that crowd as Zach Hasty hit the region championship buzzer beater.
Yeah. I mean, anybody that's number one, I can't say enough about the Chiefs fans. They're amazing. They are loyal. They are precious to Wyoming basketball, I think. And so because of that it's like a home game for them, to be able to play in Riverton. And so those stands are packed. I mean, for a regional game, it doesn't matter if it's for the championship or not. Those stands are packed, and I couldn't hear myself. I mean, if you go back and listen, I mean, at one point I'm just like, I don't know if anybody can hear me, but I'm going to still keep talking just in case. And I got text messages that were like, we can hear you. But it was crazy. So for me, yeah, I mean, we were talking about defense, Cody, and Wyoming Indians defense stepped up huge and caused at least 4 turnovers in a row. And I mean, pretty bad turnovers on Thermopolis' case, throwing it just over each other's head during a press and really let a 12-point lead get away. And because of that, Monroe Black, man, he gets a pretty easy look at the hoop to tie it. Not very much time left. They get the ball to Cody, to Brody Welch in the middle. He got double or triple teamed. Through that, he threw it to Cody. Cody catches it, looks over, sees his dependent Ellis Weber there, throws a pass cross court to him. Ellis then has to jump up, catch it, do a tip pass to Zach, and Zach just throws up a shot. I mean, it was kind of a quick release, and then to watch it hit the bottom of the net to win it. I mean, what do you say about something like that? I mean, it's just obviously you can kind of see it. It still gets me all excited to talk about it. And that was just the night after we'd watched the girls do the exact same thing. Went on a buzzer beater to get into the championship into the semifinals. Sorry. So I mean, just amazing. So yeah, to see those things, I mean, that's exactly what you dream of as an announcer. It's what you dream of as a player. It's what you dream of as a coach, all those things. To see something like that happen, to be part of it, I think the entire crowd was just shocked and in awe. And of course, some celebrated and some were not as excited, but it was an amazing play.
All right. Well, we want to thank you for coming on here early this morning with us, Kevin, and we appreciate everything you do, and we know that the crowd that listens on 101.7 KDNO out of Thermopolis and the town appreciates everything you do as well. So thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you, and again, I can't say enough for all the love and support I got through the season with it as well, because it is a very minor part what we do, but I think it's an important part, and so thanks for allowing us to do it too. It makes a lot of fun. So thanks, guys. And Cody, I really enjoyed getting to call a lot of games with you, beside you, and sharing that. So always thanks for that journey too.
Yeah, Kevin, I mean, you're a class act, and you always set me up with the best ice cream cone in Thermopolis, so I appreciate that.
No problem. That strawberry shake's always waiting for you, buddy.
All right, thanks, Kevin, and enjoy March Madness. Have a good weekend, man.
You guys too.
All right, guys. Well, that was Kevin Gerber, the play-by-play broadcaster here on 101.7 KDNO for the Thermopolis Bobcats. Now, we're turning that one down now. We're running a little bit late because we want to spend some time with Cody. So I'm just going to kind of go through this list real quick and let y'all kind of talk a little bit about it if you want. But Class 3A and 4A All-Regional, All-State came out. As you would expect, the all-regional and then the all-state are kind of dominated. One locally by Lander Valley, the Lady Tigers, but of course overall by Cody. Cody High School, the ladies up there, they actually got all 5 starters named all-region, and we'll get all-state. But we'll start with the all-state actually. Unfortunately, no 4A. Riverton, of course, they didn't make the state tournament. So, but for Class 3A from the Lander Valley Lady Tigers, you got Daisy Goklish and Brianna Lincoln.
Good players. I mean, that Lander group, you probably could have said maybe a couple more players might make that team, but I saw Lander play Cody about a month ago, and we saw the brilliance of Grace Hayes. I mean, she's probably the best basketball player in the state of Wyoming on the girls' side, and she can take over a game. She did that day over in the Bob Carey Memorial Fieldhouse, and you got to give a tip of the hat to the Cody girls, who dropped to 3A and dominated 3A. I mean, it wasn't even Lander was as close as they could get, and that game over in Lander a month ago was 20-some points. So Cody was for real. Cody was for real.
They held with him. By the way, joining her teammates on the all-conference team, of course, both Daisy and Brianna, all-state made all-conference. Joining them is their teammate, Dagan Reinhardt. And also give a shout-out. I just missed the name as I was going through the list. I meant to remember it, but Buffalo had somebody who made 4-time. Something that doesn't happen all the time, was named 4-time all-state. All 4 years of high school. So congratulations to her. And congratulations to Lander Valley Lady Tigers. 3 placed on all conference, 2 on all state.
Excellent season.
Yeah, and the best season in over 2 decades for the Lander Lady Tigers. So they deserve the accolades.
On the boys' side, there is a couple in 4A for the girls, one for the boys. Eric Smith, the senior point guard, who unfortunately a season kind of last fourth of it to last fifth of it, dealing with a little bit of an ankle. Came back in region, of course, and there they were upset to be eliminated. But Eric Smith, congratulations to him, making all conference, just like his brother did the year before, Malachi, or as Cody might like to call him, Malachi.
Don't know what you're talking about.
On the girls' side, it was. I'm trying to pull up this real quick. It was Talon Leesburg and Carson Vosica. Of course, one of the bright spots for Riverton and for a lot, because most of these teams are generally fairly heavily senior laden, is for the Riverton Lady Wolverines. Vosica, of course, only a sophomore.
Yeah, that's huge having a sophomore as a being recognized on that bigger stage, all conference stage. That's a good player to build around for the Lady Wolverines in the future.
Yes, absolutely, and I'm trying to pull up the 3A conference list. It's got a couple from Lander and the all-state list, but we do, while that list is now it's up. So on the 3A side of things for the boys, it was at all-state, it was Finn McFadden for Lander. He was the only actual boy in Fremont County to make the 3A or 4A list. Of course, only 2 schools, but Finn McFadden makes that list. So congratulations to him.
The only son of 2 Riverton High School graduates on that Lander team. Of course, his mom, Stacy, and his dad, Chase, both were standouts for the Lady Wolverines and Wolverines back in the day. So congratulations to Finn.
Yeah, that's cool. I didn't know that fun fact.
But yeah, Finn, he dominated football, and now he's dominated basketball, so I'm not surprised to hear him on the all-state list. And, of course, the Lander Tigers, fell short, but that was a crazy game, 4-overtime game in the state tournament. You don't hear about those very often.
No, when you play well over half of another game, you don't really hear about those very often. Joining him just on the all-conference team is his Tiger teammate, Noah St. Clair. So congratulations to the 3A and 4A all-conference. So next week, hopefully, we'll be teasing our all-county selections, as we're going to try and get together this week, hopefully, or this coming week, and sit down for probably 45 minutes to an hour. Probably won't take very long. We'll probably be heavy on the Chiefs. Again, this is for the Ranger. We'll tease it, so it's all-county. Otherwise, it would be pretty much probably about a third to half Wyoming Indian, and a third to half Thermopolis, and then a sprinkling or a smattering of others. But there is no rest for the weary here at WyoToday as we transition right into spring sports with the Riverton Lady Wolverines and Wolverines and the Lander Valley Lady Tigers and Tigers Starting tonight, they start the 2026 soccer campaigns. The Tigers will be hosting Rawlins at 3 for the girls, 5 for the boys, and that will be live streamed on WyoToday's YouTube page. And the Wolverines will play at 3 and 5 as well, and they will face Rock Springs at 3 and 5. So those start off, should be very good teams. Hunter Saltzgaber back well to 100%. And when you look at most of the teams in Fremont County, well, 3 of the 4, they return pretty much, not everybody, but pretty much everybody of significance. There's one here, Ryan Cox is returning as goalie, whatnot. You're going to have to replace him. But the Riverton boys should be very, very competitive this year and very, very good. Of course, returned to the state championship tournament last year, hopefully looking to build upon that in senior captain Hunter Saltzgaber's senior year.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird, looking at the postseason for high school soccer. Typically, you have 2 legs in professional soccer where you have a home and a home.
Yeah.
And so, you might not play very good on the road, but you have a chance. That's kind of the unique thing with the state tournament. You're one game, and if you go down by a couple goals, it's really hard to come back. So that's just, the one year I played soccer, we lost to Cheyenne Central. And, we were supposed to beat them, but we went down by several goals. But anyways, I digress. This team, you return a lot of people. They all, they'll know the plays. They'll know, everything. So it's just an advantage for Riverton. And then, I think today is not supposed to be windy for once for this week. So that should make for great weather tonight.
Well, it's weird because usually the start of soccer season, just quite bluntly, it's cold. And it's not going to be
cold today.
It's going to be interesting to see how those seasons play out. Of course, right behind that will be Legion and Senior Babe Ruth baseball. We got the schedules for those, or at least the tentative schedules. And again, another Riverton squad. And the Raiders that returns most players of significance, at least most field players and most bats. They are going to have to find pitching. They lost their top dog, who was a transfer in from Rawlins, so to speak. It was kind of fun to watch because his parents had a camper in the Raiders parking lot, and that's where they kind of stayed during the season. But he was lights out, their best pitcher. So some guys like a Braden Martin, like a Bo Anderson, et cetera, are going to have to step up. They pitched well at times. They had some rocky moments as well. So they're going to, if they can find a little bit more consistency, the bats and the fielding and the speed are there for the Raiders to have a very successful baseball campaign. And I just want to kind of give a shout out to the Raiders organization. Most people who follow the baseball team know some of the things they went through not too long ago, with the coaching, with some other issues, just people rubbing people the wrong way, so to speak, and arguments and whatnot. And they went from having 65 kids within the Raiders program to like 13 the next year. And now they've built it back up. They will field an 18 this year and whatnot. So kudos to the guy, to not just the coaches, but the volunteers, everybody who puts in a ton of time into it. And same thing with Senior Babe Ruth. Senior Babe Ruth is well ran and everything like that. We're lucky to have 2 programs like that.
Yeah, I mean, they're not school programs, and that's the real kicker here, is that it takes adults being adults and adulting and getting along and doing it for the kids. And sometimes some of the most difficult parts of coaching any sport are the parents. And the thing that parents have to realize is that it takes everybody to make the Raiders, the Lander, Senior Babe Ruth programs work. And you've got to work together, and if you don't, it creates division. And we've seen that, but moving on and forward, I mean, there's a good group of kids, good athletes. Riverton is never going to have a pitcher that's going to throw 90 miles an hour, so you've got to coach your kids to pitch to contact, and that means you got to play great defense, and you've got to be able to hit the ball, and those are 2 things that Riverton's been pretty good at. And, you know, one of the big pieces of news that I heard is that Riverton's going to host a district tournament this year, something that hasn't happened in years. And so that's a tip of the hat. The Legion baseball program is going to run differently this year across Wyoming. Everybody, 23 teams that were in A and AA last year are going to compete as one league this year. And so you're going to see Riverton in a conference playing a big school this year in conference play, and I believe that's going to be Casper. And the divisions are made up differently, and then what they're going to do at the end is they're going to take the top 8 teams in the state, and they're going to put those in the AA state tournament, and then the rest of the teams will compete in A. And, you know, it was kind of a shock to some teams because there's a new state board that's making those decisions. And, you know, we'll see how it works, but bottom line, you want the best 8 teams in Wyoming competing in the AA state tournament, and then the smaller schools, and there'll be some bigger schools too, well, then will come and play in that A state tournament. So a new format. You'll see Riverton playing some different teams at home this year. But I think everybody in the state is kind of looking forward to a change. I think we were in a bit of a rut. Certain teams were dominating Class A because they're just stronger programs overall. And so, you know, why not take the best of the small towns and see them compete against the best that Wyoming has to offer in terms of population? It's going to be a positive. It really is.
All right, we just have a little bit of breaking news because sports fans probably grew up watching his movies and whatnot. Chuck Norris has passed away. It was officially announced about 16 minutes ago. He had a medical emergency yesterday at his home in Hawaii. So just that announcement, Chuck Norris has passed away. So also just to wrap up a little few things from WyoToday Sports Network, our sports family here. Of course, the Cowpokes go over to Wichita and fall in the first round of the NIT, so they have been eliminated. If there's any silver lining in the NIT, Colorado State was eliminated at home, so I watched part of that game to a team that, boy, has kind of fallen ever since Phil Martelli's been gone, St. Joseph's Redhawks.
Did you watch the Georgia game yesterday?
Yeah, we got killed.
What was that score? Oh, yeah, it was 102 to 77.
In addition to that, next Friday, of course, on 99.1 KWYW, the Colorado Rockies open the 2026 campaign as they will open at home at 5:10, and they will be facing the Miami Marlins.
Hey, let's talk a little upset special from yesterday. You know, North Carolina went down to Virginia Commonwealth 82-78. A big setback. Baylor, what was your upset special?
Let's see. Well, UNC went down. I think that was a shock to everybody.
I mean, High Point beat Wisconsin. Yeah. That was kind of a chic pick, so to speak. I had those. I had High Point on my bracket. I didn't have VCU, and I should have, but did not. Of course.
We understand there's a new affliction this year. It's called NCAA flu. And some people had that yesterday. They weren't in the office. Oh,
I took off vacation day. I put that in well in advance. Usually I take the Friday off, but we had soccer this year, so I make no bones about that. And with soccer today, I am back. And, of course, those games will be starting back up here in about an hour and a half, hour and 15 minutes, or hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes or so. Of course, Big 12 did okay-ish. Of course, BYU losing to Texas.
That was pleasant.
Yes,
that was pleasant.
SEC did surprisingly well overall. Big 10 had a couple setbacks kind of quick, but then Michigan State, of course, Nebraska. And kudos to the next door neighbors to Wyoming, the Nebraska Cornhuskers, who won their first ever NCAA men's tournament game yesterday. First time they'd ever done it. The only reason not a lot of people knew that trivia moment is because Northwestern was always the answer, because up until Collins from Duke went there, they'd never been, much less won a game.
Well,
they lost their first one,
yeah.
I do believe, to Vanderbilt, won their second one. It did Northwestern. So Nebraska, for the first time ever, wins the NCAA men's tournament game. They're the last of the quote-unquote major conference teams to get a win.
Believe they played the Nebraska JV to win that game. I mean Troy out of Alabama, but the Nebraska and Troy thing goes way back. They used to play every year in football, and so a good matchup. But yeah, I mean, why not give a tip of the hat to Nebraska and their fair weather fans who never paid any attention to basketball until this year? Holy cow! Is that telling me to be quiet or what?
Nonetheless, Nebraska gets their first ever victory, and give them credit where credit's due. There were not a whole lot of people who had all 3/4 of the game that looked impressive. Michigan ran away with it at the end, but Howard, who won, of course, the play-in game.
How about
Duke?
They
made it close. They kept it within striking distance for quite some time. And, of course, Virginia Commonwealth and North Carolina gave striking distance a whole new name, as North Carolina was up by 19 at one point.
And Duke, Duke almost gave it up, man.
Yeah, and you do wonder, Siena, you got to feel they were never probably going to beat Duke unless barring a miracle, but people don't really know that they had 7 scholarship players available due to one, let's not feel bad for the kids, suspension, but some injuries as well. They played only their starters in that game because it's the only way they could stay close. And you could tell at the end, because they also played in a playing game. Their shots were short. You could tell, but, that was the best way to do it. And people online wanted to criticize the coach. At the end of the day, Duke's trying to win a national championship. Siena was just trying to win the 16 versus 1. If you were to get the coach in private and said this will never get out publicly, he'd have been, well, if we can pull the upset, that's probably it, and then we're done because we won't have the legs, we won't have the team. So,
Hey, fun fact as we close out here, Gonzaga, of course, won. Graham E.K., the former Wyoming Cowboy, probably going to be a first-team All-American. Today, Iowa plays, and there's 2 former Wyoming Cowboys on the Iowa squad that followed their coach over to Iowa this year from Drake. They transferred a couple years ago. So, you start accumulating all these former Wyoming Cowboys. If they were still in Laramie, if the NIL wouldn't have happened, who knows what would have happened. But hey, if you've got something to do today, watch UTEP's win over Kentucky. I saw it last night. It's from back in 1966.
It
will get you hyped up for the NCAA tournament.
Don't look it up as UTEP because they were not UTEP when the game happened. It's
What were
Texas
they?
Western.
Good job.
Texas Western Miners. Don Haskins first, and yesterday was the anniversary of that, which tells you how elongated we've made seasons. Is that we hit the national championship? But yeah, if you're a sports fan and you need hype, getting help hype. Specifically this weekend, I get it if you're not a huge college basketball fan, but having 32 and the close nature of them all, and a lot of people said NIL, including Jay Williams, formerly of Duke fame, ESPN studio not host, but studio commentator or whatnot. He had said that, NIL is going to make Cinderella not exist. Well, he just got proven wrong. I will stick by. I don't care how much you pay him. I don't care how many portals you have. Elite coaches know how to win games.
Ask BYU about that today, who spent over $12 million on 2 players.
Yes, so
NIL does not translate to automatic wins.
No, it does. And now, in fairness to BYU, too, losing an all Big 12 level player as well, and that had some issues, but not a big fan of BYU, but I'm sure they made that back in jersey sales and whatnot because they do have a baked-in fan base. A baked-in casual fan base. Everybody's got their diehards. Wyoming, Georgia, even basketball. Wyoming's got their diehards, even though it's nowhere near football. Same for like Ohio State, Georgia, etc.
The Billikens.
BYU has baked in I went to high school with a kid who was LDS, and he was being recruited to go to BYU, and he was kind of up in the air, and you thought some family members were not real happy about it being up in the air about where he wanted to go. But they do have a baked-in fan base. It's one of those great environments. Similar, you got a lot of those in basketball out here. BYU's got a great environment. Of course, Utah State's environment is really second to none. It's like a Western version of the Duke Cameron Crazies. Just a lot of fun times. So a lot of basketball this weekend. You got the NCAA men's tournament, you got the women's tournament, you got the NIT, and you got pro basketball. But does anybody really care about that? So
There's also hockey. But,
yes, there is hockey.
If you don't like basketball.
My Dallas Stars play on Saturday. I'll have to get the third TV working. So any last thoughts, guys? Again, soccer night 3 and 5 on WyoToday. Lander and Riverton facing Rollins and Rock Springs, respectively. That will be on WyoToday's YouTube page, both games. So search them up. It'll be Austin and Jerry Muchmore with the call for Lander, and myself and Jason Peterson with the call for Riverton. Any last comments?
I'll leave you with
Pokes.
this. If a player plays 1 year for a team, is it considered a Wyoming player if he transfers somewhere else?
Well, it's kind of like, as they call him, like Larry Nerd and stuff, the St. Louis kid who looks like he should be doing your taxes. He doesn't look athletic at all, but he's the best player on the team. He transferred from Indiana State. And that's actually who beat Georgia last year. So it was kind of but yeah, is it 1 year, one done? I mean, the transfer portal is going to redefine all that.
Oh, yeah.
And if you keep them, who knows? It may be they didn't just transfer for money. A lot of times transfers go because of fit. You just never know. I like what the coach at Wyoming is doing. Of course, proof is going to be in the pudding over the next second years. But, he came in a weird time. Not last.
Yeah, they had
before
no
last
players
season.
on the roster at all.
What do you do? Because of the head coach leaving to be an assistant at Texas Tech. Of course, they're playing today in the first round, and they are kind of a chic upset pick with some people taking. I think it's Akron they're facing. So it'll be
Wyoming
interesting
almost beat
to see.
them earlier this year.
Yeah.
Hey, tip of the hat is I just want to say best wishes to Logan Wilson, his wife, his family, Trevor, his dad, and Casper. Logan retired this week from professional football. A great Wyoming Cowboy, great Cincinnati Bengal, finished up with the Dallas Cowboys, and we don't get real guys like that. His nickname's the Governor, and I hope he runs for the office someday.
All right. Well, for Cody and Baylor, this has been Kevin Shields here on 101.7 KDNO. We'll see you next week on WyoToday Sports Live.